Thank you very much, Shocks. Yes, I'm Excoundrel. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I am an NLC shoutcaster. I've been doing the European Regional League shoutcasting for a very, very long time. And also, for those of you with a good memory, you might have seen me host a couple of years ago on the LEC. But do you know what? I'm here with Foxdrop. Foxy, we got you on the LEC. Let's go.
About time, man. Oh my goodness, I was stuck here in UK jail. It was so sad. I'm loving seeing my face up here in the background, by the way. But I just wish I was as cute as those downstairs on the stage. Do you see that? Oh mate, they're cute as heck. Yeah, you guys. Do you remember me being on LEC? It was a little while back. I don't know if your memory's quite that good, but yeah, I've been on LEC. I was doing All Stars in December. I do NLC and stuff as well, and all that stuff. You guys know what that's about. But I'm just so excited to finally be here. Like, you guys have no idea. And this first game of the day, Mad Lions versus Schalke, is going to be such a banger, and I'm so excited to get started.
Yeah, because of course, this is really important for Schalke especially. They're in one of the 3 teams that are tied for the playoff race right now. They're on a 6-game losing streak. They are doing the reverse of a miracle run right now. They're doing a disaster run. So they need to step up, and this is probably the strongest opponent in terms of schedule right now that they're going to have to beat. If they can win this, it is a huge boon for their chances at making playoffs. And I love what I heard from Dylan Falco in the interview as well, basically saying, look, new direction, complete refresh. We're coming in. We didn't quite trigger on the last patch, well enough. And now we are ready to take it on a new direction.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important as well, because Schalke, you got to change something. 6 losses in a row. I mean, I'm no expert, but that's not going to cut it for playoffs. These guys really have been up against it. They've been struggling big time. Mad Lions, on the other hand, 3rd place right now in the LEC, and looking like one of our best teams that we've got here.
Yeah, and they're coming off a really, really good previous week as well. But we are about to jump into Champion Select. Well, we are into Champion Select here between Mad and Schalke, and of course, it is an important one. It all starts in the draft, and I'm interested to see if Schalke do indeed have that new direction. Twisted Fate banned straight off the bat, so Abbedagge not going to get his hands on that. We'll see how Schalke choose to respond. Anything on 11-4 you think is going to be... Well, there you go. Answered my own question. Udyr gets banned on red side. Yeah, there you go.
You got to get rid of him. You got to get rid of him. He's really strong. Rel's another champion as well that's open right now that's also ridiculously strong. Mad Lions really focusing Abbedagge here. They must respect him quite a lot, considering to be one of the stronger carries on Schalke. And to be honest, I agree with that. I think Abbedagge has been a really, really solid player. Here comes the Skarner ban, which means the last ban here for Schalke. Do they get rid of Rel or potentially lose it to Kaiser? Because Kaiser, sorry, not Kaiser, that's a champion. We don't want to be talking about her right now. Because,
she's still up.
Strong.
She's still up. Yeah, I think Rel is pretty strong. We actually saw a couple of interesting picks into Rel in some of the European regional leagues, which I'm not going to go into too much detail just yet, just in case, but it is the Caitlyn ban, which is something that has been starting to see more prevalence on 11.4, like able to just get a lot of pressure on the towers, take early plates, but as you said, Foxy, it is the Rel first pick.
And I'm expecting Kaiser as well here for Neon, because I reckon that's what that Caitlyn ban is. You ban Caitlyn, who's really good in the Kaiser, because she's got a strong lane phase, outranges Kaiser, just a real pain in the backside for her to deal with. Take that Caitlyn off the board and you say, okay then, you can pick Rel if you fancy it, but we're going to take our best champion in Kaiser. I mean, I'm setting this up, they might not even pick Kaiser, but that's kind of where I'm thinking the direction's going here. Because, Neon has played so much Kaiser, like, it's not even funny, but they're going to be locking in the Thresh and the Orianna here, blind picking their mid. Interesting stuff here with going for a control mage in that Orianna.
I wonder if some of the targeting in the first ban phase, especially with the Azir ban, meant that Schalke felt a bit more pressured to go into a blind pick Orianna. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Orianna is a relatively safe blind pick, but we have seen a lot of Orianna Syndra matchups pop up over the last few weeks, so that could be something to look towards, keep our eyes on. But the Jhin gets locked in, so the bot lane has been taken here. Now, I imagine that Schalke may feel pressured to go for their AD carry on final R3 pick, but we'll see how Mad Lions choose to round out their first pick phase.
Humanoid also played 2 games of Lucian last week. It was the only champion that he played. And into the Orianna, it's not terrible. Plus, it would give you more consistent damage when you've got a Jhin on your team who's less about, you know, that kind of like DPS style AD carry. But it's going to be the Graves locked in here for Elyoya. Elyoya has been one of our more standout jungle players, I would say, so far in the LEC, and he's been very good on these carry junglers. Graves, of course, being one of the premier ones we're seeing so far in the LEC.
Looks we're going to get, yeah, Aphelios. Usually seen as an answer into Kaiser, but it's generally a good combo with Thresh anyway, because Thresh does make up for some of the kind of the sore points that Aphelios has, mainly his mobility. So that's a pretty standard combo that we see in the bot lane, Foxy.
Yeah, Thresh Aphelios is a very, very standard combo. Basically, they pair so well together because Aphelios, the shortcomings that he has is completely covered up and negated by the Thresh. Essentially, that just means, you know, like creating space for Aphelios, peel, that kind of stuff. You've got the Lantern. Aphelios is basically just like a moving cannon. And if you've got something to protect him, like the Thresh, and that's absolutely beautiful. It is Neon's second game of Aphelios so far in the LEC, and he did win his previous one. So not quite as popular as his 8-pick Kaiser, but, you know, still had some success in this pick so far.
Seeing a lot of top lane targeting going on right now. The desk did mention that matchup between Armut and Broken Blade. Broken Blade being a more carry-orientated top laner as well. The Aatrox being one of the champions he has played a significant amount of. Wouldn't be super surprised to see a Camille ban, but it'll be the Malphite, which has also been creeping into the top lane meta here. And this leaves open a few picks, but we'll see where Schalke go. I mean, they have a jungler. They don't feel forced to pick it, but obviously they might want to leave the counter pick for that Broken Blade on R5.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the champions that we've seen a lot of between these two teams recently is the Renekton. And to be perfectly honest, I've not been a huge fan of it. I don't think either of these two players that have picked Renekton have won a game on it. Like between the two, I think there's like 4 games between the two, Armut and Broken Blade, and 0 wins across the board. Like it just doesn't really suit these guys. So we'll see what Armut decides to do here, because a lot of his champion pool has actually been taken off of the board here. When I say his champion pool, I'm basically just meaning Aatrox, because he is just an Aatrox god, like legit. I don't know what's up with that. Like, oh, okay. You know what? You know what? Screw top laners, mate. That is an Ahri in the mid lane for Humanoids. Okay.
This is the first Ahri that has been picked in the LEC since 2017 Summer Split. Power of Evil played it on Misfits back then, and I actually saw VoD tweeting about Everfrost Ahri being pretty okay right now. I'm wondering whether he was alluding to some information about knowing that Ahri may be something that is potentially creeping in, but that is definitely not a pick that we have seen in pro play for quite some time now. These compositions have been rounded out. Obviously, the Ahri is the big talking point here. What do you make of that pick for Humanoid?
Honestly, that pick has flabbered my ghast. I'll be honest. Like, what of all the champions right here? So here's the thing, right? This is where I think the logic's coming into. Okay, you're playing against Orianna. Orianna always gives you a relatively free lane because, you know, she's kind of like more safe and just chills out on farms. But honestly, I think it really depends how these teams play it. So I'm really excited to see what we can do as we head on to the Rift.
Yeah, well, we are heading into our first matchup of the day, an all-important one for Schalke, but equally as important for Mad. It is Mad Lions versus Schalke. We'll see you on the Rift. Well, we are on to Summoner's Rift here. Schalke on red side, Mad Lions on blue. And again, Foxy, I want to take a little bit of time just to have a look at these compositions, because the Ahri coming through definitely adds a unique factor that we haven't seen a huge amount of. Are we just expecting this is going to be like a roam heavy, kind of maybe forced through bot style play? Like, what do you expect of this? And like, where do you see the win conditions coming through for Mad?
So Ahri as a champion, it was very much about roaming and creating picks. Ahri is an assassin first and kind of a jack of all trades after. It's one of the reasons why she's not picked a lot in competitive play, is because she really lacks that real standard identity that you would otherwise get from a mid laner, right? Like she does a lot of things okay, but nothing amazingly. So I would expect, honestly, like I'm not really honest. I'll be 1,000,000% honest with you here at Scoundrel, mate, and to everyone at home, I'm not 100% sure how Ari works into an Orianna as far as lane prio, push, these kind of things. But I honestly think the kill potential in that mid lane specifically is really low, and I just think that it's more about, you know, unlocking that mid, moving around and trying to make some picks.
Do you know what? I'm not going to blame you, mate. It's not been seen since 2017. It's not exactly a high-tier competitive pick as of yet. I mean, that could change from this game. You never know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I think Schalke's comp is a little bit easier to break down. Even my play-by-play brain can have a look at it and say, that looks like a relatively solid front-to-back style comp. You have the Hecarim Orianna combo. You're playing around the Elyoya. Like, that to me, like, does look a little bit easier to digest.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's pretty standard front to back right here. You've also got like the engaged delivery system with the Hecarim pick that can combo with both Shen and Orianna. So that's always nice if you want to jump in there. You can make things happen. And as we discussed in the comps as well, this is absolutely fiendish here from Gilius. Is he actually going to do this? Oh, he's thinking about it. He might be going for a cheeky early gank in topside.
The pony, he's popped Ghost. They're going in with the flash storm straight onto Armut. That top lane matchup that we looked at earlier, it's Broken Blade that's given the edge to begin with.
All right. Look, what was that path though from Gilius? That was beautiful stuff. As Elyoya is actually doing a lot more damage mid than I thought he would do against Abbedagge there, but still, I thought Gilius would just be farming. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he'd just be farming. He has to be very careful here. You have no mid laner, bud. You have no help here. Yeah, he's just gonna scamper away. He's out. Smart boy.
He's peacing out. Well, hopefully we get a little bit of downtime once the teleport comes back in from the Orianna, because I do want to reiterate kind of what this means for Schalke. They are on a 6-game losing streak. If you look at the standings right now, you'll see that they are tied with Misfits and XL at 5 and 8. But when it comes to the sort of the teams that they have left to play, they're actually looking at a relatively sort of comparatively easier strength of schedule compared to some of the other teams. They're playing up against Astralis, Fnatic, Vitality, and XL, and obviously right now Mad. In terms of the standings, Foxy, they have the hardest one to beat first, and then everything beyond that, obviously Fnatic is a relatively hard one as well, but then beyond that, Astralis, Vitality, and XL, those are all ones that should be beatable for Schalke just based on standings alone.
Absolutely. This game right here, statistically, should be Schalke's hardest game for the rest of the regular split. Everything else, you know, they've got that one game against Fnatic, but outside of that, it's non-playoff teams, or currently teams who are not in a playoff position. And just, they've got a 6-game lose streak. You might think that's absolutely bonkers, and it's not great, I'll be honest. It's not amazing. But having said that, out of the last like 6 games they've played, including this one, 5 of them have been against teams higher in the standings than them. 5 of them have been against teams that are like really high up there in the standings. So it's like they've had a tough go at things recently, you know, and if they really do want to kind of pull something out and make that push towards playoffs, it's going to be a tight race between, as you mentioned, XL and Misfits, but starting things strong on... Oh, but we got an engage here.
Yeah, flash engage. He can't quite get the light, and the double wards came down on top of it and forced the flash out from Neon. Those were some nicely placed wards, and already pressure being put onto the AD carry from Schalke.
Yeah, that was a good start right there from Mad Lions. That's the power of the rail pick, though. It's just kind of nasty. Like, this champion is so strong right now, and I see it consistently being slept on. I'm not really 100% sure why, because I do just think she's just the best support in the game right now.
What universe are you sleeping in where Rail's being slept on?
Well, maybe because we've been casting NLC, and I had a whole day where that slipped through picks and bans. So maybe there's that. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's not exactly slept on. Maybe I'm exaggerating a teeny little bit. But still, you have to respect the rail engage. And nice wards there to block the Thresh Lantern, which otherwise would allow Elyoya to just zip on out there into safety.
Look at this Broken Blade. He's not giving anything to Armut here. Although Armut's going to stop him from backing off. Should be able to shove that to tower. I was expecting Broken Blade was going for the freeze, was going to teleport back. But Armut sort of put a spanner in the works there, and is going to force him to make a slightly more awkward teleport.
Yeah, you should be able to get this plate as well, so a little bit of gold into the pocket of armor. Obviously, in the top side of the map, when you've got Shen versus Sion, it's not really the most explosive lane, not the most interactive or interesting lane. You've kind of just got two champions here who want to play more for their team, who want to be tanky. So yeah, not really too much to write home about, which is a little bit disappointing from my perspective because Armut and Broken Blade are two like carry top laners. They're some of the best we've got, and I was hoping maybe we'd get a little bit more excitement from those picks, but it's all right. You know, they're going to play for their team. Here come the TP flanks. This is Ahri coming in.
Yeah, level she's trying to go for it. Hook comes through, level 6, trying to find the flay onto him, but he'll be able to down it out. Here comes Gilius, Tives onto Humanoid, and Humanoid taken low. He does have an extra dash, will be able to get away as Rel dismounts and disengages. Nothing untoward happening to the Schalke bot lane.
Yeah, Mad Lions expending a teleport there. Abbedagge though, Schalke have not had enough of this. This could be scary.
I mean, it could be. Gilius looking for the engage. Straight on to Carzzy. Oh my word, the shockwave just whiffed, but here comes Broken Blade. The hook lands straight onto Humanoid. Limit will pick up the kill, but they'll trade one back onto Broken Blade. Limit looking to go more aggressive here as Kaiser and Carzzy are still low HP, but it might be a risky play to make happen as Abbedagge is low. They're going to flay him in. Not risky enough. Abbedagge takes the kill, and now Neon finds another. Schalke, they are off to a good start if they want to get that miracle run going.
Oh, they left the tower though, Mad Lions. You were safe. You had safety right there, and they leave and just able to get picked up off the back of that by Schalke. It started off pretty good though for Mad Lions. Honestly, it was like a 2-kill-to-1 advantage in their favor. But yeah, just not the play ending in the way that they wanted it to. Now look at the difference down there in the bot side of the map. Like Jin versus Aphelios. That's a 20 CS gold difference, which is pretty intense, honestly. And the gold totals as well there, creeping on up too. It's pretty crazy, and I think honestly for Schalke, like Neon as a player is definitely one of those that if you give him resources, he can carry you. And we're going to take another look at this play because it all begins with a teleport onto the trap. That's a pretty nifty TP right there, but it's not going to be enough from Ahri. One of the biggest downsides of Ahri is she can't really engage when she's behind units. She has to get in front of units, else the units block her, which made it really awkward for her. So this whole play right here is just really scuffed. Also allows Abbedagge time to get in here, and as you say, the shockwave might not be amazing, but when the Shenot comes through onto Hecarim with his taunt here, oh god, yeah, that shockwave was just, oh, that was diabolical. But yeah, I thought honestly, I thought Schalke had played it well enough, but I was very wrong, and yeah, and this is the point where Mad leave the tower, and yeah, there's no safety here, friends. There's no safety here.
Yeah, that was a really well-coordinated dive from Schalke, honestly. And actually, the very first part of that replay, you saw why Thresh and Aphelios are often picked together. Like, just that gives Aphelios that exit plan, and they just couldn't get the ward down quickly enough. And obviously, Ahri, no real line or avenue to land a charm. And if you're not landing a charm as Ahri, you're kind of useless.
So here's the thing as well with Ahri and her charm, right? So yeah, it's landing the charm is everything for Ahri, and if you don't land it, then yeah, as you say, you're pretty useless, and that really sucks if you're Ahri. But something that can make it a lot easier is if you go for Everfrost, and Everfrost is an item that has risen in popularity recently as one of those like there's mid-mage itemization mythic choices. It's basically like the old Super Soaker, the old GLP. But you can jump in there with your ulti, you can slow them down with the Everfrost active, and from that, it's a lot easier to then land your skill shots, to land, including that charm, which is obviously very, very important to do. So that, you know, that's something to keep your eyes on for Humanoid, like if he does decide to go for that, and I'm expecting him to do that.
So what you're saying is, if you're old like me, or I don't know, let's say another LEC shoutcaster like Trevor, Quick Shot Henry, you need Everfrost to be able to hit your skill shots. That's the TLDR.
Even if you're a young, sprightly up-and-comer like Ender, you would need Everfrost to hit your skill shots on this champion. It's just the way, I mean, the projectile is slow, it gets blocked by a minion, like, yeah, it's not the easiest one to execute.
But this is something, you know, as I said, it has been kind of talked a lot about, this Ahri with Everfrost pickup. I think it's one of those ones that I think can definitely accelerate some of the earlier skirmishes as well. I think Ahri is one of those things that I've always thought thrives in the chaos. You know, like when you have those earlier skirmishes that are kind of all over the place, Ahri kind of dips and dives. I'm not trying to quote Dodgeball here, but dips and dives out of those fights and basically looks for it. They go for it. They are glutton for punishment in this bot, and as Broken Blade comes back down, that is the Shen pick in full force, making the tower dive. Kaiser now by himself. I don't think you're getting anywhere, especially not without your horse, because it's a very, very big, scary undead horse who's going to charge you down. And Schalke playing firmly through the bot lane. And we had Ashley talk Foxy, in the interview was like, oh, you play through the 2v2 strong bot lane, and Dylan Falco was saying, oh no, we've got a new identity. You know, we're not gonna do that. We're playing different. No, he baited everybody. It's the same. they're just playing through bot again.
You know, so this whole play that I just find really, really impressive by Schalke is twofold, right? Firstly, TP timers. Just phenomenal from Schalke, because Humanoid and Armut, if you look at their teleport cooldowns, I even think Humanoid is up now, but it wasn't up when that play happened. They timed that to perfection. And when you're playing with a Shen, this is the second thing, when you're playing with a Shen, you always have that power to dive. You know, you can always just bring him into a play, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And Elyoya was taking the Rift Herald at this time as well. So you know the jungler's not going to be there. You know you're going to have the numbers advantage. Just really smart there by Schalke to get that play. As we're going to see, the Herald that was taken, as I mentioned, by Mad Lions is now the 5th Herald in a row they've taken, by the way. They're pretty good at doing that. He's going to take that first Blood Tower top.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned something really interesting there. Mad took all 4 Heralds last week, and actually, it's something that Mad in general put a huge amount of priority on. Now, they've got that first turret of the game. They're now making an aggressive play into the red side jungle. Now, is warded up for Schalke right now, but Mad have got the numbers here.
I'm interested as well. You raise a really good point. You know, like the Heralds for Mad Lions, they took all of them last week. They've taken the first one today. But is that necessarily a good thing? You know, because I wonder whether trading that Herald for that bot play is worth it. And I don't know whether the answer is quite so cut and dry. I think that stat might not necessarily be the most positive. But having said that, you know, I could also be talking absolute rubbish, because maybe Mad Lions are okay with that. Maybe Mad Lions, as part of their game plan goes, you know, they say, fine, we'll just go for Herald here, bot lane play safe. You know, versus Shen, Hecarim and all that. Play safe, lads. It's okay. You got this.
Play safe versus the dives that just happen 24/7. But it clearly is part of Mad's game plan. It's clearly part of the identity of how they like to approach the game. That Rift Herald forms a core part of their strategy that it seems to be above and beyond prioritized compared to any other team in the league. Which, you know, I kind of wondered why that is, and maybe it is that they just value the gold that it gives you, the team, because actually, if you look at the gold difference right now, we're dead even. We're even Steven right now, with actually a slight advantage to Mad, and that may be, for all the bot lane dives that have happened, I guess the Rift Herald's kind of making up for it. We're having the first Drake started up, and again, wrong side of the map for Schalke. I don't think they're going to be able to contest this.
Thank you, observers, for switching to the gold, because it's a perfect transition for what you were saying here. In the jungle, you've got that 1k difference. Bot side, it's only 700. So there's a bit of a difference in the Diffie and the Tiffy as well up there in top. But I think Broken Blade, speaking of top lane problems here, I think he might be in a bit of a pickle. I don't think he's got any friends nearby to help him.
I think he's just dead, mate. He's chain CC'd, locked up. Kaiser actually picks up the kill, and that'll be another turret for Mad, surely, off the back of this, especially now that plates have just dropped. Despite all the effort that went into bot lane tower dives, Mad are still taking the objectives that count.
Mad Lions, you know, they're 8-5 right now in the LEC. Our third best team statistically, and honestly, I think they're just kind of showing it here in this game, because I think a lot of teams would buckle under what Schalke's thrown at them this game. But Mad Lions really haven't, and I find that quite impressive. And the fact that, like you say, well, they're not even evening gold anymore. They're actually 1,000 gold ahead right here. And it's not even really a huge deal that Jin is behind, because he's more of a facilitator as far as like AD carries go. But to be perfectly honest with you as well, like I think the way this game's gone so far puts a lot of pressure onto Elyoya's shoulders, because you don't really have that premier carry in the mid lane. Jin, obviously, as a champion by design, not necessarily what he wants to do either, especially against a strong frontline like Schalke has, and he's been perma-dove as well. Yeah. Like, it really does come down to Elyoya, who's just been farming his life away so far in this game.
Yeah, he is almost 50 CS up on his opponent. We're going to see Limit caught out here. Nothing he can do as Armut picks up the kill. And I'm going to shift this over to a conversation about what I'm looking for this game. You talked a little bit about the mechanics of the team fights and how realistically, like pure team fight mechanics, Schalke look like they have the better way to play it. How do Mad actually win then? Like, how do they snowball this so that they don't ever have to get to a point where we're fighting late game Schalke, where they are clearly superior, and, you know, playing a pure front to back, they'll come out on top?
I'm honestly wondering at this point, you know, with Elyoya, who's just been like turbo farm in the jungle, whether he'll be enough to break through the kind of tanky front line that we'll see, or the dive that we'll see from Schalke. Because I reckon, you know, if you survive the initial initiation from Schalke, I think you're in a pretty good spot. You know, Hecarim jumps in, Shen jumps in on top of Hecarim. You've got the ball delivery as well from Abbedagge. Like, if you can survive that, I think honestly you're okay. And Mad Lions may not even be looking for team fights, because again, they have a team that can catch out pretty well. You know, when you've got Jhin and Ahri combined, there's always a potential there to just not even take fair fights. You know, just try and make those fights unfair.
You literally force them into a 4v5 before it even begins. Like, you have that pick potential, I guess, with the Ahri charm, and we've all seen what Rel can do when she engages fights as well. She's absolutely nutty, mate. But obviously we see it. Obviously we see the bot lane tier 1 drop. I gotta say, a lot of the gold seems to be situated really on the top side of the map here for Mad. It's really in Armut and Elyoya's camp. They've got a lot of that gold sitting on their shoulders. I guess you've got to figure out how we convert
2,000 goldie for a Scion at 17 minutes. What's that about? Honestly, who does that? Who picks Scion and gets a 2k goldie at 7 minutes? But anyway, we're going to probably get a fight here.
He's not even taking the good deaths, mate. It's a double teleport, actually, as you said, straight into the middle of the fight. Humanoid on the outside. This is where Ahri wants to be, looking for the chance. He dives into the back line. Oh, my word. Neon is just bloody dead. In fact, Schalke are just bloody dead. And now goes Scion charging in. Broken Blade desperately tries to get out. Kaiser will force him back to the turret. And Elyoya and team have just absolutely crushed it here. Schalke's playoff runs are slipping away by the moment.
At least in this game, it's not looking too good for the Excoundrel. Beautiful team fight there by Mad Lions. And they picked up Shelly here as well. So they're going to be able to use her to cruise on through the mid lane. Get that tier 1 mid tower. Get that tier 2 mid tower. Then they'll be able to recall, reset, spend that gold if they wish, and push out mid and bot. Go towards the dragon. Get your vision down there. And before you know it, woof, a third dragon. One away from Soul, looking pretty good here for Mad Lions as we're going to get into this replay. I kind of want you to keep your eyes on Humanoid, but you shouldn't, because he just whiffs everything. But keep your eyes on Armut instead. Or, yeah, look at this. Look at that. Look at the wombo combo here. As Humanoid's love chart goes somewhere else completely. But that's fine, you know, because that's it. Why is Rel... Just don't leave it open, man. This champion is so grim, followed up by the Scion as well. Like, oh my... Good heavens, this is disgusting.
I mean, that was just the wombo combo of CC, right? The Magnet Storm into the Decimate from Scion. Like, what can you even bloody do? Like, it's almost nothing you could do. And I'll be honest with you, I want to take a look at the items, because we hyped up Everfrost Ahri. It's not Everfrost, mate. It's not even Everfrost.
Yeah,
it's Leandri's
I knew that would happen,
Ahri.
by the way. I knew that would happen 1,000,000%. As soon as we started talking about Everfrost, before the mythic item was complete, I 1,000% knew we were not going to see Everfrost in this game. It's just how it is. It's just how it goes. I mean, point still stands. I think maybe if she had Everfrost, it would be easy to land that charm in the last fight. Having said that, the target was still stunned and still missed it. But hey, we'll gloss over that fact, as that is the third dragon going down to Mad Lions here, who've built themselves a pretty significant lead now over Schalke. Almost 4,000 gold. One dragon away from Soul Point. Can they catch the Ahri? I don't think so.
I mean, Ahri's trying to catch Gilius at this point. Humanoid forcing him out. Orb of Deception just a little shy of his HP bar. And whilst Mad are now in a strong position, I do kind of want to talk about what this win would mean for them, because although they're in a much more comfortable position than Schalke right now, but they are still fighting for an upper bracket slot. They're still fighting for, you know, should things crazily go their way, like a little difficult to imagine them getting second, though it's not impossible, but third and fourth still means a lot in terms of getting an upper bracket slot in the playoffs. And Mad have got some tough competition for that upper bracket slot, including the likes of Fnatic and SK. So you can see who they've got to face. I would say Mad have got a relatively tough last few games. You've got to face the top two here, but you also have Misfits and Astralis. A win here would actually be big for them, because that puts them in a much more comfortable position to secure top 3 or top 4.
Yeah, just to reiterate what you're saying, because the playoff format has changed a little bit in 2021, if you're top 4 in playoffs, you will have the chance to get eliminated twice. So if you mess up one best of 5, it's okay, you'll have another one. But if you're 5th and 6th, you don't. It's all do and die from that point. So yeah, finishing top 4 is important, and obviously the seeding going into that as well. And to be honest, you know, Mad Lions, it might be hard to reach top 2 against G2 and Rogue, but to be honest, like, their fate's in their hands. They're playing those teams, right? If they can steal some of those wins away, it's not outside the realms of possibility. So we see Mad Lions now here posturing towards the top side of the map, just trying to kind of squeeze out Schalke from this area of the rift, because if you can do this and set vision, all that lovely business, then you know, it's pretty easy for you to then turn onto the Baron and try and make something like that happen in the short near future. Abbedagge.
Yeah, Abbedagge, you knew they were in your red side jungle, mate. I mean, that's a little bit questionable if I were you, but they're going to get 2 tier 2 turrets off of just a cheeky little 1-2 rotate through the jungle. And this is like complete vision control for Baron. They've got dominance of the red side jungle from Schalke. And honestly, Foxy, like, I don't know if the items are there for Schalke to really turn their composition online yet.
Yeah, not yet for sure. Like they've definitely got to hold on and be patient here, and I'm yeah, it's time is definitely running out. On the plus side, I'll say here as well though, like for Schalke, Mad Lions doesn't have a great Baron killing team. You've got Elyoya, and that's kind of it. Jin's pretty naff, Ari's pretty naff, Sion's pretty naff. Like, it's not, there's nothing really going there for you know, as far as it goes for like trying to secure Baron with any kind of pace, so that should lower the threat of that happening for Schalke, which should also hopefully buy them some more time to get back into this game.
Still, we're not a huge. I mean, it's not a massive. I mean, okay, I'm going to take that back what I said. It's a 6,000 gold lead. It's a pretty significant gold lead for Mad at this point in time. But like, Schalke now are in that point where they are boxed towards their own base. Like, waves will start to crash into them. What do we think needs to happen here? Soul is coming up in 1 minute 30. It feels like you probably have to give this up as Schalke, because I don't know if you ever win that fight in a million years. But Baron is also something you've got to be concerned about in the next few minutes.
Well, see, you're posing the predicament right here, because there is no good answer to that question if you're Schalke. It's a rock and a hard place. Like, you don't want to give away Baron, you don't want to give away Soul, but if you can test it, you'll probably get wiped. And when that happens, you'll either give away Soul or Baron anyway, or you just lose the game. So yeah, there's no real good answer to that question, but I think Schalke kind of need to find that miracle fight, that miracle engage. That on the plus side, they do have very solid engage if they can catch someone out of position. It doesn't have to be by much. We've seen treats on SK. He is the king of catching people out of position who aren't even really that far out of position. You know, if Schalke can find an engage like that, you know, with the Hecarim, with the Shen, you can catch someone, you can bring them down, and then at least delay that Soul from going over to Mad Lions for another 5 minutes. Buy yourself some more time.
I've got to be honest there, I want to reflect on kind of like how the early game went here. It looked dire on the bot side of the map for Mad. I mean, they got dove twice. They lost their bot lane twice to a dive that was coordinated through Gilius and Broken Blade. But it didn't matter to Mad. They took the Rift Herald, they snowballed gold through plates, they were able to just get complete complete dominance in the side lanes through those plays. It feels like Mad's strategy, whatever it is that they seem to give so much priority to the Rift Herald for, it seems to be working for them, especially because they basically ignored Carzzy and Kaiser this game, and it didn't really matter.
One of the things that I probably should have mentioned more as well, I kind of did him a bit of a disservice in the early game, was just how much Elyoya was farming. He had like 145 CS and Gilius was on like 90 or something. Like, it was a big difference in farm. And yet Hecarim, like, he's a champion who can play more towards his team, and Gilius as a player also does tend to play more towards his team. But I think, honestly, that's just a stylistic difference right here between these two junglers. Elyoya was able to use that to his advantage, get a huge lead over Gilius, and now he's massive. He's absolutely huge. And that difference, as you said, in the bot side, like being able to dive Carzzy and put huge pressure on him, hasn't really amounted to much. But he'll still be useful. Carzzy will still be useful. He lays down his ultimate, gets in those zaps. He's more of a utility-focused AD carry than most. So he'll still be able to make some things happen. I really don't think that Mad Lions are going to feel the pain of that anytime soon.
Well, of course, we have seen the Soul go down. We kind of just caught it casually just going over to Mad. As I said, I don't think Schalke are in a position to contest it, and they also didn't even try. And I think, you know, at that point, if you contested Soul and you lost the team fight, the game was over anyway. Maybe they are just looking to scrape, oh my word, straight over the wall. It's the Magnet Storm over the wall again, but they do drag everybody out through the Lantern and flashes. Humanoid dives in, he gets the charm onto Broken Blade, and suddenly it is a 5 versus 3. Oh my word, Schalke desperately trying to get towards their own base. You wait, look, you don't want to hook the bloody Sion. He's too big. He's too big.
That's not happening.
And Schalke back off.
Yeah, that's not happening right there. Oh goodness gracious. This is what I was saying, man. It's a rock and the hard place. Like, Schalke just have no business being where they were, but if you're not standing in that position, then you just lose Baron, and then that also sucks for you. It's like, yeah, there's just no good answer to this anymore. It's just so tough right here, and we're going to see it again. Look at this. Schalke, they're all in the same spot. You have vision of Kaiser, man. He's only a pink ward. You know he's there. He's playing Rel. You know exactly what he's capable of, and you still let it happen. It's just, oh man, they deserve the punishment that they got for this one, and just Scion things coming out at the end here. Yeah, look at it. Yeah. Thank you, Observer. Yeah. Look, they saw him. They saw them. What's that about?
I know, but I feel bad. The Baron power play obviously coming through now with that Baron picked up by Mad Lions. But I feel for Schalke because, as you correctly said earlier, mate, they haven't got a choice. If they didn't go for it, then they're just boxed into their base with Baron, and we've seen how easy it is for Mad to just shove these turrets. I don't think Schalke had a choice. I mean, and I guess they had that ward there. If Limit had landed the hook, they could have burst the Rel quickly enough, but that was basically, I think, the play they were going for. And I honestly, I don't blame them for it because they're in a rubbish situation right now.
Yeah, it's really, really dire right here for Schalke. And I'm just... Look, I noticed something when you were talking right there. The Observer was clicked on Armut. He has 4,000 health. Look at his items.
Yo.
He has so much defenses there as well. And he's got Mountain Soul. He's just charging in. He doesn't worry about anything. Look at him.
This guy is literal raid boss. He is the absolute unit in the front of the Mad Lion. They're actually going to catch Gilius out with the charm here. Gets taken pretty low. They are trying to push down this inhibitor. It will drop to the Baron empowered siege minions. And Armut takes 0 damage. This guy takes, I mean, that is just absolutely disgusting. The guy is, literally, Aphelios is tickling him. He's just stood there, just probably almost enjoying it. Look at this guy. He doesn't care that he's hooked. He's taken 0 damage. Look at that shield.
They almost got the shield. They did almost get that, though, to be fair. Armut right here is a walking Zhonya's, right? Except he can also cast abilities. This guy, I genuinely don't see a world where he can die as Mad Lions going.
Oh, Limit lands the charm. Limit went for the hook. He gets killed off by Armut. That's Armut's response to getting hooked twice in a row. He just kills you. And now Mad are staring down the win. Schalke desperately clinging on. This is an important match for Schalke. If they don't win, it becomes that much harder to make that race for playoffs. This is the strongest opposition that they have. But a win would have been so helpful in securing a playoff spot.
And that is key here for Schalke as well. They've lost 6 games in a row. If they lose this one, it will be 7, which is not great for playoff hopes. But as you say, in their upcoming games, Mad Lions statistically will be their hardest opponents. They play Fnatic, but outside of that, they're not playing any more teams that are in a playoff position right now. So from here, sure. Maybe you don't want to lose this game. Maybe it would be better if you could win. I'm not going to argue against that, and I don't think anyone could argue against that. But it's not the end of the world for Schalke if they do still want to make playoffs. For Mad Lions, however, if this team is looking to challenge that top 2, they do play against Rogue and G2. Maybe they can make it happen. But even just for confidence, motivation, or momentum, I should say, like Mad Lions are just putting on a clinic in this game.
And it's all been off that snowball from the Rift Heralds. You know, the priority that Mad have put into it. Honestly, they aren't even breaking the shield. I swear they've attacked him like 10 times. This guy is just too tanky, and it is a single inhibitor turret now remaining. They are splitting with the Ahri on the side lanes. Armut, he's not even bothered. He just steps right up to that inhibitor tower. No issues whatsoever. Mad are toying with Schalke in their own base.
Someone clip this, okay, and send this to Xpeke. This is what too tanky actually looks like, right?
That's an old school reference, mate. That's an old school reference.
He is, yeah. I mean, with that Mountain Soul, definitely making things just a lot here for Schalke. They're going to try and hold on. They've only got 1 lane left to defend here. There's no Baron left on Mad, so maybe they can stall out for a bit longer, but I don't think Mad are going to let it happen.
And then he charges in, and again, it just zones him out. I mean, you're hooking the wrong target limit. You don't want this guy. He's just too big as the Magnet Storm comes in, absolutely decimating Schalke's backline. They're trying their best, but they just don't have the damage. Mad absolutely slaughter Schalke in their own base, and they're going for the win. A triple kill for the absolute beast in the jungle that is Elyoya, and they'll take the final nail in the coffin. Mad are pushing for the win. They don't believe in miracles. They're going for that 3rd and 4th spot, and potentially, Foxy, they're going to challenge the top of the standings in the LEC.
Mad Lions going to be really happy with this one. This was a clinic from start to finish. It looked a little teeny bit dicey for the bot side. Carzzy didn't get to play a lot of League of Legends, but still, overall, as a team, they've got to be happy with that one. Mad Lions really looking strong in that game.
What a performance from them. And like you said, I think clinical is the word. The bot lane priority that Schalke had to put in just didn't pay off for them. They did not get anything from it. They weren't able to convert it to anything meaningful. A 7-game loss streak for Schalke 04 here in the LEC. That is going to be tough mentally, Foxy. That has got, I mean, no matter what Falco said, that has got to be tough mentally, and they need to reset, because if they don't, they could kiss their playoff chances goodbye. Of course, we have our Kia Motor player of the game. Go over to the LEC on Twitter. You have 3 choices: Armut, Elyoya, and Kaiser. If you don't pick Elyoya, you're legit trolling. But I think
I think they're good options, man. They're good options.
I think they're good options. They are. I mean, look, Kaiser had some great engages. I think Elyoya was fantastic, and Armut obviously just too tanky. But everyone on Mad played well, honestly. And Foxy, that felt like vindication for Mad and their strategy behind the Rift Herald plays as well.
Yeah, they were just really, really solid right there, and there's not really too much to say against them. Just a really, really solid game.
Right, we are going to go to a quick break, but of course, Misfits are coming up next. They're coming off a 2-0 week, and they have their eyes set on another big win versus Astralis. We'll see you soon.
They are out there, waiting to be discovered. Some of them are big, and some of them are small. But that's the thing with ideas. They don't just come to you. To find them, you have to move. Kia, movement that inspires.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
That was my foot. Wait, I can't find the switch.
It's on your left?
Wait, I got it.
Oh god, that's not good. What did you do?
I wasn't supposed to leak that. Oh no.
No, wait, look, if we react quick enough, we can just pretend that we revealed it on purpose.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go.
Damn it, just roll with it.
And let's bring the hype music.
LEC Finals, 10th and 11th of April. Tune in.
Welcome back from the break for another weekend of the LEC, and I'm joined by the victorious bot laner Carzzy from Mad Lions. Hey Carzzy, thank you so much for making time for this interview.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? And congratulations on beating Schalke. And there are actually some things that I do want to ask about the game, but first of all, I do need to ask about Ahri. Like, we haven't seen this lady in the LEC since like 2017. What was like the variables and reasonings behind the Ahri pick, and did the pick go as expected?
So, we picked Ahri because Humanoid wanted to make all the girls proud, and also he thinks that it's really strong. And then those are the only two reasons why we played it today.
Okay, I think those are valid enough reasons. And speaking of bot lane, Schalke actually had a very strong pressure on the bot lane, something we kind of came to expect from Schalke. How did you try to repel this pressure and make sure that this didn't thwart the rest of Mad Lions' plans?
We just kinda greeded 2 times when they were diving us, and we didn't ask for resources. We thought that we can outplay it so we can gain more on the map. But like, sadly it didn't work out well in the end.
It does sound like you do have some thoughts about the performance of the bot lane in the last game. If you could reflect on the previous Schalke game, what is like the one thing you would change, especially in the laning phase?
I was playing kind of at the laning phase. I was underperforming a lot. And there is not much to change. My team played really well. It was just me playing a bit worse. A lot worse.
Still, Mad Lions did have a great performance, and I think there are many reasons to be happy with the victories ever since it brings Mad Lions so closer to the players. One last question, Carzzy. Speaking of bot lane, Kaiser said something interesting 2 weeks ago that you two guys have been trying out new things in the bot lane and limit testing in the first half of the season. And with the regular season closing to the end, can you tell me more about the experiments and evolutions that this bot lane has experienced throughout spring, and whether you think it was successful?
Me and Kaiser, we started playing a lot more without being scared. So we died a lot more in comparison to the last 2 splits that we played in LEC. Well, I think we learned a lot, and most of the games there is much less pressure on us ever since we started doing that. So I think it's a great success, to be honest.
And I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you once again, Carzzy, for this interview, and best of luck for the rest of the spring.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And after the short break, we'll be back with Misfits versus Astralis. So don't go anywhere.